rigid pump fodder and you're always carrying two front wings with you because you either want to go long, either want to go fast, well, this is the answer for you. You don't have to choose anymore because with the Ketos Kobun 133, you can do both, right? This is a pretty unique front wing in its genre, and in this video I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. I'm gonna be unbiased as always, even though I'm riding Ketos. And I also want to compare it with the Code 1250R because in terms of specs and in terms of how they feel in the water, they are quite similar. All right, and by comparing the two front wings, I'm going to show some downsides of this front wing and some, pros of this front wing against its direct competitor, I would say, the Code 1250R. All right, so yeah, let's dive in. First off, 1,250 square centimeters, and as you could see from the video, you can still static start it and rock start it pretty easily, right? That's for sure because of the 15 aspect ratio and the unique profile. As you can see from the camera, at the tips is extremely thin, and then the more you go towards the middle, the thicker it gets. Never gets extremely thick, but of course it changes quite a little bit, right? And then you can also see from this perspective the camber, right? It's really got quite a pronounced camber, and that's what makes it so good at low speeds, right? Anyways, who is this front wing for? Again, I wouldn't use it necessarily in big downwind conditions. I wouldn't use it in choppy water. I wouldn't for sure use it in the surf because still 133 centimeter span, right? You can turn it pretty well for a front wing of this span, thanks to the thin tips. But of course, forget about carving on the wave. Also because you can have a super stiff mast and a strong connection between fuselage and front wing, but still, it's 130 centimeter span. So even if you carve sharp and you bridge the tips, still you're gonna feel a bit of bend and you're gonna maybe lose a bit of balance, right? So it's not really the front wing to carve sharp. However, the program really for this front wing is mainly, again, not really flat water. It's like flat water fast, and I would say really the main thing is really this very, very light wind downwind. So for example, if you're living in a lake or somewhere where the wind is very light, consistently very light, then even if you have a 20 centimeter, 30 centimeter chop, you can do some pretty fun downwind with this front wing. Whether it's with the paddle, whether it's with the full drive, whether it's with a pump board, if you're comfortable and confident enough, this front wing can really get you going for quite some distance, even if the conditions are very, very light. Now. As you can imagine, it's pretty unstable because of the super high aspect ratio. So you want to compensate for that by using a longer fuselage and maybe even a slightly bigger stab that you would normally use. At least that's how I prefer to ride. Right? I prefer to be a bit more stable and a bit more relaxed, especially in downwind conditions. I don't want to be super hectic, and I don't really like that style of pumping. So yeah, I prefer to ride it with a longer fuselage. Now, finally, how it compares against the Code 1250R. Now, the Code 1250R feels a bit more locked in. I'm not sure the mast maybe is a little stiffer, or maybe the connection between fuselage and mast or front wing and fuselage is a bit stronger. I'm not sure, but it definitely feels a bit more locked in, especially when you pump upwind. However, yes, it's probably a little bit more effortless, but at the same time doesn't go as fast as this one and doesn't turn as well as this one. I mean, you can pretty much expect it because the tips of this front wing are insane. I don't think that you can really go thinner than this because otherwise it's probably not even gonna stay in place. So yeah, again, this goes a little faster. The code goes a little longer. This turns a little better. So it's really up to you, right? What to get. And of course, again, with the code, you have the downside of having a slightly thicker fuselage because it's carbon fiber, so they have to make it thicker to hold. This fuselage is thinner and it's probably even lighter, but it's aluminum, so you kind of have to disassemble it every time. especially if you use it in salt water. Otherwise, you might fuck it up, right? So yeah, that's about it. I'm still exploring this front swing. I had the chance to try it in downwind conditions. It was probably a little bit too big for this front wing. Again, if it's like short period and a bit big, like 50, 60 centimeter chop, you cannot really make the most out of this front wing because you cannot, again, turn sharp to change direction and look for the next bump. But if it's like flat or with a bit of chop, you can really have fun because you can pump far, quite fast, glide really insane glides, and you can catch some little bumps, and it's gonna be pretty fun. All right, and it pumps really well upwind because it really cuts through the water thanks to the thin profile. So yeah, it's a pretty fun front wing. If you're into those kind of things, I wouldn't get it if you're like into wing foiling. I haven't tried it, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe very, very light wing foiling could be the option. Because it's got a very, very good low end. I'll try it out and I'll let you know. All right. Thank you. See you in the next one.